But what if I told you there were 5 simple things that you can do right now to get tack-sharp photos every single time? There are some basic fundamentals, and they are game changers. And that's what today's topic is, so let's get right into it. So my first tip is shutter speed, and this is the #1 killer of sharp photos. Most of the times, it's not bad focus, it's just motion blur from your hands, shaking, or your subject is moving. The fix is fast shutter speed to freeze that motion. There's a classic rule that says your shutter speed should be at least 1 over your focal length. So if you're on a 50mm lens, let's say, nifty 50, you need to be at 1/50th of a second as a minimum. But honestly, just double it. For a 50mm lens, aim for 1/100th of a second. If you're shooting people, especially kids, try at 1/250th of a second or even faster. A fast shutter speed is your best friend when it comes to sharpness. So for my second tip, and this one's going to be kind of controversial, and that is to stop shooting wide open all the time. I know we all love the creamy, blurry background you get at f1.8, but most lenses are actually at their softest when they're wide open. Every lens has a sweet spot where it is absolutely the sharpest, and that's usually 2 or 3 stops down from the maximum aperture of the lens. So if you have a lens that's 1.8, try shooting it maybe at f4 or f5.6. You'll be blown away by how much sharper that image actually is. And you could still get some of that creamy background separation that you're looking for. Experiment with your lens. Try to, take some time and shoot it at different, aperture settings to find a setting that you actually like that gives you that background effect and also the sharpness you're looking for. So my #3 tip is really simple, and it's basically how you hold your camera. Don't hold your arms out like chicken wings because you're causing camera shake. Instead, hold your camera with your right hand on the grip and your left hand cradling the lens from underneath. Now tuck your elbows into your body, stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and boom, you got it. You became a human tripod. And this massively will reduce camera shake. And hey, if you can use a real tripod, even better. When you do use a tripod, try to use like a 2-second timer. It allows the camera to settle after you press the shutter button and gets rid of that little last bit of vibration. All right, my 4th tip is really simple, and that's to stop letting your camera do focusing for you. In full auto mode, your camera might focus on a random object like a branch or a tree instead of the person's eye. So you need to take control of that. Switch your camera to single point autofocus. This will let you move around that tiny focus square, and it actually tells the camera exactly where you want to focus. For portraits, you always want to put that little focus square on the eye. Then you have to pick the right mode. So is your subject still, you use AFS or one shot. Is your subject moving, then use AFC or AI servo to track them as they move. It's that simple. Stop letting the camera do the work for you and guessing where to focus. Put the work in yourself. And finally, my last tip, #5, is don't be afraid to raise your ISO. Seriously. So many photographers use a dangerously slow shutter speed just to keep their ISO at 100 or 400, and they end up with a blurry mess. Embrace your ISO. So here's the truth. A photo with a little grain is 1,000 times better than a clean photo that's blurry. You can't fix a blur in editing. However, a sharp photo with some noise or grain from higher ISO you can fix, and it's totally usable, especially with today's software. First, set your shutter speed for sharpness, then set your aperture, and if your shot is still too dark and you use your histogram, just crank up the ISO. Your modern camera is going to handle it, I promise. And if it gets noisy, that's okay, because like I said, you can clear it out with some of the new software. So getting sharp photos isn't magic, it just takes practice. So now that you have the knowledge, go out there and start creating some sharp images and see where it leads you. Thanks for stopping in and watching the video today. I'm sorry that this one got out a day late. I just had a bunch of stuff going on and I just couldn't get it worked out that I could get it out in time. I strive always to have it out on a Wednesday morning. It just didn't work out for me today, and that's why we're a day late. Thanks for watching the video. Leave some comments below, and hey, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.